We're going to have to learn how to edit. Okay, so what we're looking at is reaping the benefits of the healthy lifestyle, and I guess that's even more pertinent today. As Nambi, you said, you grow most of your own food. That's awesome if you've got the room to do it. I've got a pocket handkerchief backyard. I try and grow all my own herbs. I've got heaps of fruit trees, but I still have to go and brave the shops. And at the moment, I guess that's part of what puts people off doing home shopping, is just the difficulty we have now getting around and stuff. So the big things is exercising, eating and sleeping. So we're looking at the importance of a healthy lifestyle, the link between nutrition and mental alertness. I think we all know that if we're having a bit of a day when we're a bit flat, sometimes it's because we haven't eaten or we've had junk food. And junk food is always something we kind of turn to when we're feeling low. Not many of us turn to healthy food at that point. But at the moment, health food is really important. The mind-body connection, feeling depressed, your body, your food, everything goes. And also if we're depressed, we don't want to get up and exercise. We'd rather just curl up and make a fort in our bed and hide from the world. The awesomeness of good sleeping patterns. Which of you are having bad sleep? I've got a good guess on one of you.
Like, do I really need to answer this?
No, you don't need to answer that one. How about the other two? How about you, Nambi? Getting that sleeping happening is really important. Difficult as it is in times.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with my sleeping, but I definitely have experienced not being able to get to sleep as easy just since all this has been going on. But yeah, just doing things to help that, like turning off screens, like an hour before going to sleep, and
fabulous.
Yeah, just doing different things to help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Sheridan? You finding sleeping's an issue at the moment?
I mainly connected with the point you made about depression affecting like your willingness and motivation to get up and be proactive and exercise. I've been feeling that a lot last week. But the whole hiding in the bed thing is a little bit of a sore spot, especially when you can't go to uni, like to get away from you know, those spaces that aren't helpful when you are not feeling the greatest.
But you can still go out into parks and things like that. You can still get out of the house at the moment. They're not totally locking us down.
No,
it's actually a word for it. It's low energy depression.
Yes.
And it's a real thing.
I'm lucky that I've got like a backyard, like I'm on 5 acres and we have horses and I have pets, so I can go outside and sort of, you know, force myself to be a person. And animals are a great way of like just stop thinking about your problems.
Oh, they are. They're amazing for that. So, no, that's great. You're at least getting it happening for you. And it's looking at the strategies, and that's what we look at in here, is some of those strategies around self-care. The two items I've got asterisks on that page, how healthy are you, nutrition, exercise, sleep, and the 4-stage change model, they go into the portfolio thing. I'm trying to do that with the slideshows as I'm doing them now, so you know what's got to go into the portfolio. So when we get to them, you'll know. So our next item. As we know, health is more than an absence of disease. There's mental health as well. There's that physical health, getting some fitness, getting some nutrition, getting some sleep, because if we don't sleep enough, we tend to feel kind of flat, and emotions and everything go a bit pear-shaped, don't they? And
definitely.
We've got to look at it holistically. Grateful people tend to be more optimistic, so if we look at what we're grateful for rather than what's not going right in our lives, we get to be more, and optimism boosts your immune system. It's all those serotonin and all those awesome drugs that our bodies actually make. You know, we make our own opiates. Mm-hmm. And exercise tends to be one way of getting that happening. Have you done the health test that's online? looking at how healthy you actually are. I found one I did last year, extremely depressing. I'm old enough without having this damn thing tell me I'm 75. So I've looked at changing. Hey, come on, I'm 4 months off 60. It's depressing enough. I don't need to know that my body and my habits make me 70 or 75. That was a bit of a blowout. But it forced me to change my eating habits and my exercise habits. 12 months ago, I wasn't walking 6 kilometres every morning. Getting that exercise has now increased the sleep issues. So it's exercising enough, eating the right foods, and working on the sleep side of life. Okay, you can change now. Okay, how healthy do you think you are? And we can seem to be healthy, but what people don't see is that stuff on the inside of us. And that's part of the exercise. Do we eat the right foods? Do we get enough sleep? And you've all said, sleep patterns are a bit all over the place at the moment. And they're kind of diagnosing a thing called coronavirus depression or coronavirus anxiety, because this is a different world for any of us. I mean, even our parents have never been through something like we're going through at the moment. So a bit of anxiety is okay, because anxiety is about helping us cope with things. It raises our alertness, but we need to keep it under check. We don't need to panic. We just need to be able to move ahead with how life's going. Bad habits hindering our progress. Yeah. I don't know. I would like to exercise more. I'm going to have to start. Now I'm working from home. I'm not going to get my walks on each day. And it's going to be a case of kicking myself up the butt and still getting up at 5:30 to go for a walk before I sit down at the computer at home. So it's a bit of a lifestyle change. And for you guys, I guess it's a bit of a lifestyle change for you. Coming into study is a lifestyle change. And now we're making you change other things. What food we eat, what's healthy, what's not healthy. Sleep, are we optimistic enough? Are we looking forward and going, yes, I've changed my life, I've got this new study program, I've got a career in mind, I'm working towards the future. And how much can we adapt to adversity? And I wrote that in when I was doing these up over the weekend and just went, how adaptive are we? We have to adapt. We don't have an option nowadays. So, positive emotion versus the world. Sickness can and will happen. We're all going to get sick at some point. Hopefully we're all doing that distancing stuff, and we're doing a bit of self-isolation. I mean, this is changing our entire lexicon. We talk about people, you go shopping, but the magpies have been. It's all those people that are hoarding. So our whole language is changing around everything. Positivity won't stop it happening, but it can help us make us feel better. We can look at the fact that we can change what we're doing, and we can change our thought processes. It was interesting, those of you who went onto the Facebook page and put in when I said about the random acts of kindness. I put that on my personal page as well, and it's been so uplifting seeing what other people are doing to lift themselves. Because by an act of kindness to somebody else, we're actually helping, making ourselves more optimistic about life. Reduces recovery time, and they've proved that with people who have been in operations. If they go into an operation feeling optimistic about the outcome, they generally come through and get healthy and get better quicker than those who go in going, I'm going to die. Needless to say, we don't want that. We want people to go in feeling good about how their life is progressing. Making the right health decisions. If we're feeling good about our life, we will make those decisions. And the 4-stage change model, which we'll come to a bit further on, is about changing those unhealthy habits. Linking learning and good nutrition. I'll be going through the 6 food groups shortly and how they affect your brain processes. It's eating that range of food. I've been doing keto, which is like low carb, high protein, high fats. It's worked for me. I've got more energy than I've had in socks, but it doesn't work for everybody. There's some things there that are difficult for people, but it's finding a diet process that actually suits you. Healthy fats, all those omega-3, salmon, tuna, walnuts, wheat germ, eggs. One thing about keto is you can eat as many freaking eggs and salmon as you want, so you actually don't want them anymore. And I think that happens with any diet. So if you are going to look at a healthy way of eating, you need to look at balance. You need to look at possibly having a treat day every so often, where you have that donut that you've been craving for weeks, and just adjusting your lifestyle around it. The antioxidants, they merge with the free radicals in our system and kind of merge with them, making them harmless, because antioxidants, as people get older, the free radicals break down the brain cells. So you have the antioxidants which help counteract them. And so if you don't put up that fight, you're going to experience memory loss as you age, and you'll end up like me, ancient. Okay, blueberries, grapes, berries are great. Those green leafy vegetables, carrots, garlic. There's a whole range of foods that you can eat that are still healthy and taste good, which to me is a priority. If it doesn't taste good, I ain't going to eat it. High tyrosine, can never pronounce it. It's made by your body and aids the neurotransmitters. And the neurotransmitters are messages for your brain signals from one neuron to the next. Your brain structure might be good, but if neurotransmitters are insufficient, your brain just doesn't work quite right. So some parts of the neurotransmitters like tryptophan are not able to be made by your body. So you need to consume foods to help get them into you. The brain can make tyrosine, but you need to get the proper foods into your diet for that to happen. And I don't know whether you've experienced, but if you're not eating right, you do tend to feel more tired, and you're not as mentally alert as you would be if you were eating a proper diet. Especially, as I'm going to pick on you, Stephanie, you're feeding a baby. It's going to take more out of you than your pre-pregnancy.
Yes.
Yeah, so you need to really look at making sure your diet is adequate to feed both of you.
Yeah.
I think that whole...
I notice on the days when I haven't ate enough food or ate properly, because I start getting all lightheadedness from the breastfeeding and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think that old, eating for 2 when you're pregnant is a bit of bull. It's actually eating for 2 once you've had the baby. Once you've had the baby, because you need to get that extra food into you to help produce everything. So that's your dairy products, eggs. Pretty much everything here has eggs somewhere in it. So obviously eggs are good stuff. I miss having the chooks because then we had eggs every day. Vitamins and minerals, the building blocks for your brain. B6. Even if you're vegetarian or vegan, there are still foods that you can use that are going to give you these vitamins and minerals. Are you going to say something, Nambi? You just had a look that said you were going to say something.
Oh, okay.
Okay. B12 is your beef, your chicken, yogurt, cheese, and some breakfast cereals. Some have extra vitamin B12 actually in them, in their makeup, but you need to check the box for what's actually in them, because generally breakfast cereals are, if you look at the back and has the contents of what they're made up of, a lot of them will have like sugar as a second or third item. And those, what they put into any product they sell is actually broken down by the most is the first thing on the list. So if you see sugar coming in as second or third, it's got a hell of a lot of sugar because it's one of the major ingredients. And that's obviously not the best thing for us at the best of times. Okay, phew, that wasn't my phone.
No,
Broccoli, cauliflower, the old vitamin C, obviously citrus. Beautiful fruit out there at the moment, raises your vitamin C. Irons, your red meat, leafy green veggies, that's the old spinach. Beans and lentils if you're vegetarian or vegan. Calcium, beans and lentils, almonds, they all have a good supply of calcium. And we need them not only for our brain, but we need them for our body, muscles, bones. So that's, basic. And of course, fibre. In order to get rid of it all, we need fibre. And that's why people are buying so much lip paper. Okay, now jokes aside. Brain works on sugar. Our body creates carbohydrates turn into sugar, which in turn feeds our brain. So we need to make sure that we have the carbs, sufficient carbs to keep ourselves functioning. So lots of dried fruits, the old joke about prunes, those green veggies, nuts and seeds, whole fruit. I didn't know kiwi fruit until I did this up. I thought, oh, I love kiwi fruit. So it's just getting all the vitamins and minerals and basic food groups that you need to keep yourself functioning. Then we have exercise. Exercise creates endorphins, which improves our mood, reduces stress, also makes us feel a bit better about ourselves, even if we don't have body image issues, and I don't think there's anybody alive who doesn't have to some extent. If we start exercising, we actually start to feel better about ourselves. Self-satisfaction, like the day I walked a kilometre, it was just like, yahoo, let's get myself a trophy for that one. So I started to feel satisfied about myself. Increasing your energy, and it actually decreases depression. Sometimes the old punching bag is a really good way of releasing energy, as long as the punching bag is one of those inanimate objects that's safe rather than something human.
Highly agree. I do Muay Thai and I have a punching bag and it's incredibly useful.
Ah, excellent. Yep. Yes, doing anything like that, anything that gets you moving is good to keep your body happy and keep the muscles going, and that helps your brain function more because it's starting to release some nervous energy and you can put some time into concentration. And that's where the aerobic and strength training comes in as well. It increases for kids who do a little bit of aerobic and strength training, and let's face it, kids do a lot of aerobic just by running around as much as they do. They get their heart rate up, and it helps to increase their cognitive abilities in childhood, which I thought was quite interesting. Our executive brain function, we have part of our brain that actually controls the amygdala, that controls what we do, and that aerobic and strength training helps get that up and going and functioning better. Increases the volume of brain structures involved in memory. So our brain actually gets bigger. It's more and more the fact that the blood flows better through it. So high intensity and high load training can improve memory. I haven't attempted either of those, but the research is behind that as being an effective form. How much exercise? 10 minutes will improve your mood. So 10 minutes just getting out there, having a brisk walk, doing something that raises your heart rate will make you feel better. 30 minutes, the psychological benefit will last up to 12 hours. So obviously you've got the blood flowing, everything's working, you're going to feel better. You do 30 minutes 3 to 4 times a week at moderate intensity is the longer term benefits. And those longer programs at gyms, and I know that gyms are now closed, but a lot of gyms are now going, if you do have a gym membership, they're now going, okay, we'll meet down at the park instead. So they can still run classes. Great for depression. I think part of that's also the social interaction. You're out with other people, especially if you're a person who tends to prefer to stay at home. and it's not really a social being. High intensity and high load training. Have you guys tried any of that? They're really fast cycle training and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, go you. How'd you find it? Did you find that?
At the time, I was dying, and the first time I did it, my shoelace got actually stuck in the bike, and apparently
I know.
that had never happened, so that was fun. But afterwards, I definitely felt way better within myself. This was before I had a baby, but obviously.
I could just see you strapping him on and going for a ride.
If I could, I would.
Yeah.
I'm definitely devastated that Jim and me can't get back together anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a problem. And I don't know if you watched the PM's thing last night where it's going to be basically 6 months.
Mm-hmm. I did watch it. I was very more annoyed that they took over maths. I was like, come on, guys. Like,
for me, it was the good doctor. But it's one way of keeping up to date with the reality, because social media is really damn depressing at the moment. Because there's so much misinformation out there. I'd rather hear what's really happening, whether I agree with it or not. Do any of you have kids that are in the will I keep them at home, will I let them go to school dilemma at the moment?
I have a niece that I'm very much worried about her. She's in grade 4, so she's at that point where it's like she's fundamentally developing and needs to kind of have that stuff to keep her stimulated and stuff like that, so she doesn't fall behind.
Yeah. I think it's a huge quandary for a lot of parents at the moment. Do they stay at home with the child? Do they let the child go to work, go to school? I'm so glad my kids are adults. There's definite advantage. Okay, we're through that. Our next bit is sleep. We all know it's essential for health and well-being. I don't know about you, but if I don't sleep well, I'm cranky. My memory definitely has issues. You know, the old, I never said that. I'm sure I never did that. And I'm as irritable as all hell. And those, I think, are pretty much typical symptoms. So it does have that effect on your alertness. The really long time of very little sleep is totally unhealthy. The longest I've gone is 3 days with no sleep at all. That was when we had really major floods down here and I was working with them. But I was a zombie, and I think I slept around the clock and finally finished. It takes you a few days to actually get back on track after you've had a lack of sleep. So 8 hours is best, preferably in one sitting. I'm assuming for you, Stephanie, it's broken sleep at the moment?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, other two? You getting unbroken sleep, or is it that patchy, leaving you feeling a bit yucky the next day stuff?
No, I sleep right through.
Oh.
You.
The only thing like I said earlier, is getting to sleep at night. And so, because I always automatically wake up at 5:45. Like I have always just woken up really early.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting as much sleep as I would like to, but I'm not complaining. Like I'm getting enough to function well. Yeah.
Do you find some nights you'll suddenly be tired earlier and go to bed earlier and do a bit of a catch up?
Yesterday, was it Sunday? Yeah, yesterday. So I work I sell my produce at a farmer's market. So on a Saturday, I work from 3 a.m. till 10 a.m.
Oh, wow.
And so Saturday night, I should have gone to bed at like 6 p.m. or something. You know, I was so buggered, but I was like just I was just staying awake. And I slept in until 8 a.m. yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I was very proud of myself.
Yeah, that's your body just catching up on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is the sleep cycle. Basically, that's that interim between consciousness and sleep. You first go to bed, you kind of get into that bit of a floaty period. Your brain does less complicated tasks. when you're into the non-REM sleep, your body's starting to make repairs to itself because it's downtime for your body. It's not having to move around. It's not having to do things. Body temperature increases. So you might find that at 2 o'clock in the morning, you wake up because you're hot. It's just your body temperature has increased as it's healing itself. Moving into the REM sleep, the rapid eye movement, after about 90 minutes after first feeling sleepy. And then you might wake up for a while. Sleep isn't just a continuum. Sleep will go up and down. I wear one of those weird Garmin-y, Fitbit-y things, and it's interesting looking at the cycles through the night. I kind of wear it because it's fun to see how it goes, and I'm a researcher by nature. Sleep deprivation, microsleeps. I don't know if you've experienced it, sitting on the lounge, watching TV, doze, wake back up again. You know exactly what's happened, but you've only been asleep for a few seconds. Sleep deprivation reduces daytime performance, increases errors, takes 2 good nights of good sleep to catch up on a bad one. So you're in for a whole lot of sleep when you can, Stephanie, when you start getting yourself back.
I'm so excited.
Yes, I understand. Okay, the 4-stage change model is recognizing you have a choice to lead a healthy lifestyle. So that's the first step. The steps are unconsciously incompetent. You don't actually think that you need to make a change. And this can be diet, it can be sleep, it can be gaining more exercise. I will admit that I'm a smoker and I'm conscious of it. So I'm actually at the consciously incompetent stage. I've realized there's a problem and I need to make a plan to address it. The next step is become consciously competent, activate the plan and be conscious. And to use the smoking as an example, it's, okay, I'm going to cut down, so I'm allowing myself a cigarette every 2 hours. So it's a conscious thing for me, so I'm consciously becoming competent at giving up. When I reach stage 4, it's going to be I'm not smoking because I'm unconsciously not a smoker anymore. I've done this cycle before. I did 8 years without them, so I know I can do it. So those are the steps of the 4-stage change, and this is actually on your assessment thing, so it's worth knowing what the steps actually mean. So do you have any questions about that bit?
Yeah, wasn't the goal last term to quit smoking?
My goal's every term, I think. No, I really need to. My daughter's a pharmacist, and she rang me from somewhere in Western Australia and gave me a very good, it should be a mother-daughter, but it ended up being the other way round discussion last weekend. So it's like, yep, I've lost the weight, I'm walking more, now it's time to actually activate them to stop smoking. But so I'm working on that. You guys can hold me to it. We've got 12 weeks or 9 weeks left. You can hold me to it. Another thing is that this is just we popped in because it's more interesting, is what we wear reflects what we feel. If we dress super daggy clothes, we actually feel more laid back, where it's actually, in a professional sense, it's not a healthy thing to do. Getting up, getting dressed in the morning, you're a uni student, getting up, getting dressed as a uni student puts you in that framework. I might be working at home, but I actually have a corporate shirt on, and that is I'm now in work mode. I'll finish the end of today and I'll go and strip off my shirt, put on a t-shirt of another sort, and I'm out of work mode. So it's looking at, some clothes hold symbolic meaning, and that's can be some religious connotations around that. And we choose clothes to elevate our mood or what we're doing. we do it unconsciously. There's actually a link on the Moodle site about clothing and how it makes you feel. Do you have items you wear that change in some ways who you are? I'm a marriage celebrant, so I'll get dressed up for a wedding and I will push on what I call my Victoria persona. As I put on the clothes, the makeup, do the hair, my family says my personality changes into a more formal person. When I'm at work, I wear work clothes, I'm a lecturer. At home, I'm a t-shirt and shorts and a dag. So you might find that there's clothing that alters how you feel. And if you're feeling low, put on something bright, put on something that gives you emotionally a lift, and it helps get out of that depression spiral. There's only a couple more, one more slide. The primacy of positivity. It's one of Tim Sharp's approach to weight loss. Instead of waiting until you succeed to feel good, it's more effective to feel good first. So if you feel good about yourself, you actually are more inclined to do something for yourself. So it's, okay, I'm going to feel good about myself. I know that I'm going to feel good if I get some more exercise, eat better, for me, stop smoking. So the tyranny of when. It's never the right time. We'll say, when I've done this, I will do, when I've done Y, I'll do X. It's actually, we've got to start somewhere. You guys thought you wanted to have a career. You thought that you want to do something different from what you're doing normally. So you started steps. As you progress through it, you'll feel good about yourself. You'll feel yourself changing, becoming more the person that you actually think you are. Okay, and then the last slide is just the references. So I'll put that up. Okay, I'm going to stop recording now. If I can figure out how to do that. Stop recording.